Okay. Photography. Public photography and common courtesy. Whenever I'm filming, I always try and get permission from either the establishment, the place I'm at, or the people involved. In some situations, it's almost impossible. Like public areas, um, there's a level of consent that is implied when you're in public land or um, in public areas. People are allowed to record certain things within reason, right? You should always practice confidentiality, respect privacy of others, um, and that's what I try and do. What else? And I guess again on the implied consent on some level depends on the state and area and what you're doing. You shouldn't be going around filming other people without their permission, right? If you're there with your family or you're taking pictures of a park or yourself, uh, and people are in the background, that's kind of different gray area. But if you're there taking pictures of strangers, that's just creepy and wrong. Um, and it can be very illegal depending on where you are, right? So keep that in mind. And it's always good to remember these things. And with today's tech, in today's world, everyone has a cell phone. Everyone is constantly on their cell phone. Everyone wants to take a picture. We're glued to our screens, and our devices are always in our hands. So you can forget that common courtesy and privacy of others, right? And I try and be mindful of that, but I'm guilty sometimes of always wanting to capture moments here and there, and sometimes I just need to put it down and just be present. Um, so that was one of my biggest takeaways with my summer visit with my daughter. I realized that we take pictures together. We documented our adventure, our journey. Um, but not everyone wants the camera rolling 24/7, right? Not even myself. And it gets annoying, but it becomes like this reflex to pull your camera out and film, or you have a thought or something you want to record. So I'm trying to get back away from that and just be more present. Um, what else? But yeah, be respectful of other people's privacy, and like I said, certain areas, you're allowed to do certain things. No. User discretion. Always check with the place you're at, right? Not. There's restrictions on um, filming on certain property, right? Some places it's private property, it's commercial property, and I always try and check, like when we took our boat ride, I checked with the crew and the staff. Is okay to record while we're sailing, right? Or while we're on board. Same with the aquariums we went to. Any place like that, is it okay to film in here, right? You need special permission sometimes. You need to fill out paperwork, especially if it's on like state property or federal property. Public lands, public parks, public streets, there's some level of consent when you go out into public that you will probably be monitored or on camera, right? But like I said, you shouldn't be going out with the intent of taking pictures of people without their consent, even in public areas, right? And that's what I always try and practice, kind of like firearms training. You don't want to flag people with your weapon, your firearm. So I try and treat my camera exactly the same. I don't want to unintentionally flag someone and record them, right? Like that's not why I create content necessarily. And on some levels, I don't even know how I ended up in this trap. Another thing I try and be respectful of and mindful of is my daughter. Just because she's my daughter and she's not an adult or whatever, or she's not my property. She's not, I have to respect her as an individual, and I shouldn't be, yeah. So I try and be mindful that just because she's my kid doesn't mean I can post funny videos or, record her and post them online like that. Or, I always try and get permission, right? Stuff like that. And, But if you don't at any point want me to record anything, let me know, okay? And I will respect your wishes. There's a little trick I noticed from other families. I think if you're trying to look cool with your family and stuff, instant way to do that is sunglasses. I feel like I'm getting messed up on this trip. It's it's so easy for things to get messy and disorganized and scatterbrained, right? Like, especially with my concussions and the it's like ADHD sometimes. I've been having fun. So if you could do one more thing with me before I leave, and what would it be again?
With your mom.
Mall. I don't always go to malls, but when I do, it's for teenagers, right? For you, if that's what you want. All right. Okay, so you brought us to the mall in the middle of the city, and it was a fun adventure. We got some more information on the
It was super fun.
Pop Mart store and the items they're sold out of. We also got some fun things. There was some.
The sales were amazing.
Yeah. The situation is critical. That's horrible. All right. Well, it's a little scenario exercise situation. We got here to the middle of the city. You want to go to the mall. And like a friend said this morning, heat rises. We are experiencing a heat wave, right? So let's say that there's a solar flare that wiped out the GPS and navigation systems, the cell towers in the entire United States. So now
we're talking about that thing I told you about yesterday.
No, we're talking about a situation where you're gonna practice.
Why?
Just so we can learn and exercise and train how to use navigational skills. So I know it sounds whatever, but we got here with GPS that has been wiped out from the solar flare, and
I do not remember which road you took.
Yes, exactly. So we have this old school thing called an atlas, and it's your job to help navigate us back to where we need to be to get home. Okay? You wanted to come to the mall,
No,
So-
this is not fun.
so you have to get us home. I mean,
That's my mom wants me home.
I know, but we have to get home, and we're gonna try and get home
If I
with.
can't figure out how to get home, I still take my mom.
Well, we're gonna get home eventually, right? But that's the plan. We're gonna try and do it without the GPS. Or we have limited functionability, right? We have. Let's see. All right. So, do you remember how to use this?
No.
You used to use it with me when we would travel.
I used to look at it. I didn't use it.
Yeah. Okay, where is, find our state. We're in Illinois. Where's it? Illinois. Okay, so here you go. I can pull us out to more lighting, but we're gonna get situated and figure out where we're headed, where we are, and how to get home. All right. You don't what?
I don't like using maps.
All right, you're buckled, I'm buckled, dog is good. We're gonna get into, we'll get some better lighting. And you can look at the surrounding areas to figure out where exactly we are and get oriented. We have water, we have supplies, we can get there, we just got to figure it out. All right, you got better lighting now? You're my navigator. I'm the driver. I need your help. You know what mall this is, right? You doing all right? Hey, it's okay to cry.
Stop.
I love you. I think this is good for you to learn.
Because you're freaking recording it. It's not funny.
Okay. Sorry, that's my bad. Okay, sorry. Little misunderstanding. I should have asked if it was okay to record some of this. I just, like we were doing earlier, I want to document our road trip, and you don't want the camera on, so we turned the camera off.